Back in your bike. I see you did. I looked at that one, well, you did good.
No, and I'm concerned about it.
Yeah.
Custom or commercial?
Just for,
Oh, the Kenworth,
yeah.
497.
It's a nice looking car.
Or 1251.
Yeah, it's
Huh? We'll be there in the morning at 6 o'clock.
Just tell me when
Be
you're
quiet.
Oh.
I'll probably go about
Pretty great fun.
You gotta come down the.
Yeah.
No, with the new website. See on. Easy. I think so. It's very. You can start. Oh. Yeah, right. Yeah. Keep it up with it.
Meeting's over.
Those are really. Yeah.
Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Yeah. Anyone has any minutes from the past meeting before them? Everyone had the opportunity to that in the special meetings. Everyone had an opportunity to review them.
Yeah.
We have a motion to accept. We'll do one at a time. The April 8th meeting, I'll make that motion. Just a. We have a second.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
David,
Aye.
Sean, Chris,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye. The April 8th minutes are accepted as printed. Now the April 28th special town meeting, everyone had a chance to review those.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made, we have a second. Motion is made and second. Roll call, please.
David,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye. The minutes of both meetings are accepted. The first item, is correspondence. from Martin and Judas.
And I started out,
This is in response to I'll read it. Please find attached the water and sewer project update memo for the board meeting this week. There are any board actions necessary this month. The only outstanding item is to get bond council working on the ban for the water project, or to hire fiscal advisor to do so. That's under motion. The update results of the Black Lake Sewer Interest Survey are included in the memo. As you can see, this isn't much public support. There isn't much public support for the project. We have those results wrapped up. We will have those results wrapped up by your June meeting, and the board can decide if they, at that time, if they would like to apply for grants for the project. In the meantime, we'll proceed with submitting preliminary engineering report, VFC, as it required by your engineering plan grant being reimbursement up there. We're not planning attending the meeting, as we know. So that's all information. And anybody that's here would like to see a copy of this, we're welcome to do. Public comment. Anyone like the floor?
Just like to say, Chris Spray, was curious about the current standing of what the summer concert series
Location.
location is going to be and what the situation is there. This is the third or fourth year that they've been doing this. It tends to get bigger and better attended every year, which is good. I'm not speaking out against that. But there are multiple issues about this location currently at the museum. And I believe it has been discussed with the town as far as, or you discussed amongst yourselves, the liability issues. And unfortunately for my wife and I, where we are at ground zero, which I know makes us a little more probably upset about it than other people. We have talked with other people around the village that are also, I wouldn't say enthusiastic about it. It does have a tendency to depend on the band that's there, because they do a wide variety. But it has a big effect on the noise levels, the attendance, and the actions of some of the people that are attending the concerts. Like I said, I know they're a nonprofit, they're doing a great job doing what they do, but we have not had much headway trying to convince them to use one of the other options that are available around the village for these concerts. I mean, the block party idea is not a bad one. But in most cases that I've seen, block parties are usually a once in a while, once a year type of event, not 10 times a year. And again, Monday nights, obviously the traffic in the village is not as usually as intense as it would be. The Saturday night concerts, obviously, with people trying to, whether they're going to the concert or not, trying to get in and out of the Iron Horse or Ellis or whatever. It creates quite a traffic jam down in that portion of town, which is the main, I mean, it's your main street. I have personally seen on numerous occasions the traffic. I mean, and I realize they're trying to do traffic control, especially during the setup and tear down stages before and after the concerts is probably the most dangerous time. Because once people believe that the street is somewhat open, people are driving through that area all the time. And again, I realize it's only, well, concert's only an hour and a half, but between setup time and the tear downs, it can go sometimes as much as 4 to 5 hours. Depending.
It's because it's 2 hours long and setup starts at 4:30, sometimes 4. My big gripe is. I can't get in and out of my driveway. I can't leave. If I get a phone call to my grandkids, my children need me or whatever. What am I supposed to do? I have to go out and scream, yell, like I gotta get out, and that's gonna be like maybe 15 minutes to get out. I don't.
I have to change my schedule to make sure that if I want to park in my own driveway, I have to change my schedule to make sure that I'm home by 5 o'clock, say.
Yeah.
So that I can get in the driveway, and then after that, and once the band starts to set up and the crowd starts to come in, then we're essentially
That's a
cut
lot.
off
Yeah.
from getting in. And like I say, I know it affects us more than anybody, but. The first year, the museum asked us if it would be okay, and we said, yes, we'll try it on a trial basis and see what happens. And as I said
Craig, you had
before,
approached me about it, and we said, we'll see how it goes. Well, we've seen how it
like I
goes.
say, we like the, the fact that that it's been successful. And the job that they're doing as far as that goes, but we believe that there are other options. Gateway owns the Red Barn, which I think would make a nice venue. I have personally talked with Jay Moore about the possibility of could they do something under the pavilion at the fire station, and he said that seemed like a workable solution to him, which would provide more off-street parking. You have the gazebo in case of inclement weather. If you don't have a corporate sponsor that is sponsoring that particular week, the fire department could possibly run a concession to help them out. It seems like there are other options that are
You also have
working.
park,
The park.
down by
needs to
the
be
car
there,
wash. So there are options there.
So that's just, I don't know, like I said, we had been kind of trying to follow, and I realized I may have been like a month late on this. We have been trying to follow what had been going through the town board meetings for the last couple of months, and we had the February minutes. We weren't able to access the March and April minutes, so we weren't quite sure where the status was, or what had been, if anything had been agreed on. But again, the liability issue for the town and
And our own liability with people on our property, which they do, no matter if the yellow tape is there or not. We have kids that have come up on our lawn, they run around on the sidewalk.
climb the retaining walls.
And they go up on that incline up and put their chairs up there to watch it. And we've already had a lawsuit. So we don't need another one. And, we've been over backwards allowing this to happen. But it just keeps getting bigger, the attendance and the crowds and, we're not against the townships at all, we just want a
And I
different
think
location.
I think it's reasonable to say at this point that most everybody is aware. I mean, I realize that the museum wants the recognition which they deserve. But I think at this point, most everybody knows and is clear that it's the Gateway Museum that is putting on this series. Because it is well established. So
We're just asking for your understanding of how we feel. This is our home, this is where we live.
I'll update you on a couple things. As far as the concern for safety, that has been addressed. They have to park 2 vehicles. We've given them a exact location where they have to park 2 vehicles on each end, so nobody can drive through during that.
Right.
The other thing is, if I understand Mike correct, there's two of them they're going to try them out down back of the museum down there, where near the boat launch. We're gonna try 2 of them louder, rowdier ones?
We would
there?
love Annie on the Water and Double Axle to move.
I
'cause they're
think,
so
I believe those are the
evil.
probably the ones that are.
Yeah,
And so they're gonna try it, we're gonna
Okay.
try that out, see how it goes, we've addressed our responsibility, which is the safety. And, you got anything to add, Chris?
Well, I wear two hats tonight, and I'm happy to wear both. And hope to be constructive in each role. With my museum hat. I think that we do have a responsibility to.
Thank you.
We are pretty married to what we've got planned for this year. Today's Tuesday on. Yesterday I stopped in Watertown and picked up printed brochures that list the location. I'm not aware that there's any test of any other location this year. I personally am not as involved with booking concerts as I was for many, many years, and I know I talked to you early on about this. Part of the reason why it keeps being pushed to be there is that when we did it at the pavilion, we had one level of attendance and one level of donations. The attendance in this location is doubled at least. And the donation level is up like 4 times. It's really remarkable. And I'm not sure that that's automatically means that we need to keep pushing to do it there. I think that this year, the museum board needs to really have this discussion. And I'd be delighted if you two came to the board meeting so that the people who are pushing to do it there understood the issues absolutely thoroughly.
I physically went down and talked to 2 of them,
Sure.
president and another one.
Yeah.
And said, would you like this in front of your house, all the time? That's when people are on our property and, yes, they say, we'll try to make it better, but. How can I do?
I think larger bands with larger attendance, it's just hard. I mean, the 1 to 2 person acts, maybe?
Yep.
It's, those are usually pretty common.
I think we need both, like we said, like last meeting or whatever, it's kind of late right now, but we really do need to address
And they
this.
are doing 2 of those.
Can they do a few more somewhere else? I hope it rains.
They're trying this, and first of all we can do is give. We're not the organizer,
Right.
it's our
yes.
responsibility for the safety and.
But it is our street,
We've addressed that.
it is our street.
Yeah.
It is a town street.
I think down back, we talked about that at the meeting, down on the back street. even
Or the
though that's-
fire- or the firehouse,
or the, right.
But I still think your donations would be okay at the firehouse.
At the firehouse, right, because you
I
put
think
the pavilion.
ultimately the donations are, you know,
You've been doing it long
that
enough now.
can be the
Right.
decisive factor.
No, but you're not gonna lose
in
any.
community.
I'm gonna own this because I was the one that suggested they go for identification, identify that as theirs. You go up there, I'll be the devil's advocate, you go up there, maybe not now, because it's developed enough and known enough, but before it was said, oh, the firemen are having this event.
Right.
Yeah,
That's understood.
and, yeah,
But like I
and
said, it's off the ground enough, I think now.
But
that
you're well
everybody's-
established.
It's pretty clear on.
Yeah.
I think the back street would be the key. You got the bathrooms right there, you got.
It would be nice.
that's what
And you got a beautiful.
I've been-
neighborhood.
Yeah, I do. I think that
I've
would
been
be-
to the couple of the meetings, and they are, Chris, they are doing those 2 great, 2 down there.
So just
They're
a
gonna have
quick
to-
story, if I may. A few years ago, I arranged to have a jazz combo play on the steps of the bathhouse. And it was pretty successful, although we probably should have asked Dean to trim the shrubs before. But I'll tell you, the musicians came down and said, ah,
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they would not. So there are issues that we would have to plan well.
Yeah.
We'd have to have a good person scrubbing the bathrooms, Dean.
Yeah.
I think I might know her.
there's a
But even if
little.
we call it, it's easy to close that
I'm
street.
gonna put my third hat on.
You're closing
because
it, why? It's
My
closing it.
grandson is the
know,
bathroom cleaner this year.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez.
But,
Hopefully he does a good job.
but I know that they are, I attended the meetings, and I know that they are doing two that were. August, should I say?
Oh.
They're trying them out down there, of course, then they have to be careful where they set up because of the boat launch, people coming in out of there.
Monday should be, Saturday would be a question, you know, it's more on Saturday.
But, you know, when they were doing it up there, up at the park, that's Mosquito City, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Chairman
but
Park?
like we said, the pavilion would be out, or well, the one at the fire hall, like we said, it would benefit possibly the firefighters, you know, firemen,
But I
if they
would-
did a concession or.
But I think it would behoove you to go to the meetings and have a conversation with them.
You know, we're really interested in trying to work out something that works.
Like I said, it just-
So when would the meeting, next meeting be?
Right.
Tomorrow night, the second Wednesday of the month.
There
Okay.
you go.
Tomorrow night.
Oh, you're not planning already?
Here we go.
I'm not even
I
losing.
don't like our faces.
Let me just say one thing, I don't think it's too late to
No, it's
change
not.
your venue. I mean, I feel really bad for them, and I think, I don't come to the concerts, but I can't imagine you living there. And putting up with that, and putting up with people, but you put signs out if something gets canceled, why couldn't you put a sign out that the location is changed? Right,
Well, so what do you do with in inclement weather? How do you?
Facebook.
Your Facebook? But,
Most of it.
I mean, and I guess from the argument. I mean.
But going forward right now, if we can get the big ones changed, the first, that would help for right now.
The first concert isn't for 2 months. I mean, it would be a different case, I think, if it was 2 days from now. But it's 2 months from now until the first, or,
We have to
six
discuss
or
with
seven.
them.
So
You know,
tomorrow night,
we're not, I'm not gonna be heavy handed with them.
right,
Say you got relocated.
Right.
We said the thing is all done.
Plus you have all the parking down, don't you have parking down there now at the red pine too? You made a parking down
I
there?
wouldn't do that,
No?
because again, it's.
Yeah, the street's tight there. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be tight by the swamp.
So anyways,
So just to be clear, what, the parking area down where the harbor end used to be, whose possession is that right now? Is that town possession or is that?
movies.
We have a.
It was agreed back
But
with
you
the
have a
village
usage.
that we could use that for parking for the boat launch, but obviously with not being a village anymore, it just kind of got transferred to the town. But that property is still.
Well, I just didn't know what the status was,
Yeah.
or what the technicalities were of it, I guess, I haven't, never gotten that quite clear where it was at this point.
Yeah.
But
okay,
let's see,
tomorrow, what time's the movie?
Chris, what time is your meeting?
The meeting is 6:30 and I'm not sure. that I know what-
they haven't decided where the meeting's gonna be
I
at.
think should be a reason.
We won't know.
Yeah,
till
that's- Okay,
The options are either the farmhouse or the downtown
Right.
museum.
okay,
That's
that's
gonna be
either
one or
one,
the other.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I would predict maybe the downtown museum. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for listening.
Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment? I noticed Mr. Roof's name is on.
Yep, I'm here from Black Lake Association. And as usual, we're looking for money. I've got some statistics here that I think was, at one of the meetings, somebody was here. And you were asking for how much the expenses that we had. Right now, we're looking for money to help with our testing that we have done. Thanks to Brad Baldwin, he's a professor at St. Lawrence University. He does water testing for us and he sends it to a certified state lab, which that's the only way we're gonna get anything done. Is get it certified through the state. We've been trying to get the DEC to do something to help us and they keep dragging their feet. as usual. And we've been dealing with the Parks and Rec with the boat launch. That's another issue that we're trying to deal with. We're looking to put in more docking areas where people can pull up to unload. And we're willing to pay for that if we can get the okay from the Parks and Rec. And they're supposed to be putting in cameras. We've been trying to get cameras set up so that people can keep an eye on the parking lot. We thought we were gonna be able to get them through Homeland Security, but we haven't heard any more on that. And the marking of the channel on the north end. We've gotten the permission to do it, but we have to be able to buy the pin buoys in order to put them through the channel.
Well, I'm quite sure that we will likely, I speak for myself, that we're going to be financially supported. I've chatted with, a few times with, Bill Dash now.
I thought he was the one who was gonna be coming to the meeting, but then they told me, no, you're the one, okay, so I'm kind of last minute, here I am.
So not,
I'm trying to remember everything, but
and
we're trying
our
to-
last conversation, I told him I understand the importance. I understand the financial, support that Black Lake affords the town of Morristown, and I assure him that as far as I was concerned, we would be contributing financially. We haven't discussed what that amount will be. But
Steve, do you have an amount that you'd like to request?
oh, don't do that.
what I would like to request, but no, actually, the number that we were looking for was around 11,000.
Might have to take less.
Well, we don't want to, but if we have to.
So,
then that is the basis
so
here.
2 years ago, we asked for a financial report in their meeting. See where the money's spent, no, it was crazy, we never got it.
I've got the numbers here.
Of what your account is, all that.
The last couple of years, we don't have what we're actually, what in the account, we have a new person taking over, our last treasurer passed away. And the new one is trying to get everything organized and straightened out. So that we
Well,
can have-
Well, I would feel more comfortable if we had that.
I think it would help us to put a number to it, as far as we're concerned, how comfortable we would be if we had. Financial practicing.
And I mean, like I said, I've got a letter here that's got what we have expensed the last few years. I can leave.
Right, well, you leave it, if you will, you have an extra copy. leave
Oh,
it.
yeah, I've got-
And we will try to sort it out for quick reading as far as, what the money, where it's gone to, and then Jill and I will do this, and then we'll share it with the rest of the board. We could put it in easier terms for everybody to quick look, everybody's busy, and we'll put it down, so it's right there.
I've also got some of the data that we have received from Brad Baldwin as his results from the testing of the lake in the different areas.
Or,
And I say that's what we want to continue doing so that we can get the state on board. And
how many years have we been testing with this Brad Baldwin?
it's been 2 or 3 years with him
I want to say.
and.
So it's the same
but
test
we've
every
been
year?
doing-
Is it the same test every year, same location?
No, different areas.
Different.
Yeah, he's tested. It's in here, I've got, it's like 12 different sites on the lake. The DEC did a test, they only tested in like 4 or 5 places. And they're saying that it's the farm runoff, there aren't that many farms left on the lake. And we're talking about the septics. Coming out of the swamp on the south end. And they had Black Creek, well, that comes in Fish Creek and Indian River is the main source of the nutrients that are coming into the lake. That's what's been, he's determined that. And he's also gone up the river. Even past, Rossi, the other side of Greasy. That's it.
What is the long range game plan? You get this information, you identify it, what's the next step?
We'd like to be able to figure out ways of stopping the watershed from, I know there's a lot of farms up the, Indian River. Try to determine some way to stop it from running into the river and then down into the lake.
I think the bad part is that farmers will title all the fields and they go right to the main drain now, and it all just.
Yeah.
So, but
But that's the thing that, Black Lake has been actually downgraded, it wasn't maybe rated lake, now it's downgraded to a B. Getting worse as far as we said.
All right, leave that, if you'll leave that with you.
Yeah.
And we will.
Well, word for you. That was fun enough on you.
Put something together and give each board member. and we will see.
Great.
Thank you. Anyone else with public comments? If not, we'll move into full business. You should have a financial report in your packet. Do you want to highlight it, Chris?
Thank you, Greg. I have not reviewed it yet, so I have nothing useful to add to the printed document.
Nor have I, but if anyone would ever want one of these, Joe would be happy to supply you with one of these. The monthly report. Streetlights is the next item. And where are you, on that? Okay. I don't think we have.
You asked me about down Riverview Street, there's only two places to put them. I don't want one in front of my house, now people think that's one reason why I want a street light. There's only two transformers that I saw. One at my driveway and one down at the very end.
Do they have to be where the transformers are?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't, I was under one.
So it's, to me, it's not worth it. Unless you get a whole bunch of other people complaining. But
And
Sean wants one in front of his house, so.
it's on that corner. Bad corner.
we can joke around, but public safety is supposed to be our responsibility. And
I don't see the benefit where we are.
Well-
What would you say, Dean? You go up and down that road?
Yeah, I mean, it's not high traffic, where Sean is on that road, I mean, I was really hoping those lights, I don't like the new LED street lights, they light up like right underneath, and that's it, they don't spread out. That is a bad corner, it is busy, people do walking a lot, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple on that street. Down where you are, I mean, there's people that walk, but I mean, I don't,
It's not.
it's not a 4 o'clock in the morning.
Are there-
I'd be pleased to have lights on Main Street.
There's only one pole left, right?
There's one pole left, and I actually,
There'll be another one shortly.
there will be another one, and IMO, I think, is going to finish the 3 phase around
Oh,
there.
are they? Good.
I think it's just in the process still. Higher ups, but
And didn't we determine what these were for? Didn't we?
Yeah, something on here.
for each street lights like $10 a month.
$10 a month.
Yeah. We just had to set the pole, there won't be a transformer on it, unless somebody's getting power.
Yeah, more than power.
Do you know the power on it? Yeah, they still might run secondary off of their transformer. So that's setting the moon.
It'll cost them. Yeah, right.
And then we've had that request from Jim for one down on the pole in front of him. Jim Phillips. Do you recall that?
No, I don't. Call them.
Yeah,
It did. Request them.
so,
But I mean, on that one, there's already one at the corner. There's not one on that pole, there's one on the next pole. I don't know if it's gonna light the parking lot that he's hoping to light, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know that either.
We're in possibility of getting the repairs done on the ones that are malfunctioning.
Yeah, so they've been submitted twice. I actually talked to Richardson about it a couple times and he says, well, the LEDs are supposed to be better. I go, I think they're worse. Between the ones that are out and the ones that stay on all
I
the
mean, at
time.
least the one that stays on all the time is on and it's not probably costing you a lot of money. The one down in front of Outer Kirk is out.
Out,
Yeah,
that one's
that's
out, the
pretty
one down
much.
by our sewer plant is out. There's one here, two on Morris Street that stay on all the time.
That would have a lot of bearing on the Phillips system, wouldn't it? If that one's out.
Well, again, like Dean says, oh, this one, that's on this side.
Yeah.
That's between Outer Kirks and us.
Oh, that's right.
Outer. And like Dean said, unfortunately, with the LEDs, there's no diffusion like the old. I mean, they don't, it's all just a cone, you know, so it doesn't travel very far.
Was that purposely, so we put more in?
Well, I think probably, and this is just speculation, but I know, I mean, it's kind of a big thing now to stop light pollution, right? So those help because they're firing down, they're not firing out. And I mean, I know that you can, like, where we are, where you're on the second and third floor of the building, you know, to look out the upper floors of the building, you can't even tell that the streetlights are there, really, because there's nothing from the top side that you can see. Because all, like I say, all the light is downward in a cone. As compared to the old style arc sodiums that. So. You know,
Given the moderate cost of this, my sense is, if somebody wants one, let's put it in.
Also, this is a resolution from you guys with a full numbers and we submit it to NIMO and they get it. So.
So are you putting that in the form of a resolution?
So I would put it in that, I would make a resolution, asking the town board to endorse a street light in front of Phillips and
Bay Street.
one or two in Bay Street, two if there are poles. Yeah, in Bay Street.
I'm good.
All right,
If people don't ask for it.
That's what I'm saying, that they're not complaining.
you made the motion, I'll second that motion, roll call, please.
David,
Aye.
Sean.
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye. So, see you tomorrow. Don't really. The rest of it. New business Spectrum franchise agreement. We have to have a
public hearings,
public hearing. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay.
It's all pretty much summed up in the email that they sent to you.
Yeah.
Everyone has a copy.
So,
Refresh my memory, please. This is,
Their franchise agreement is due for renewal.
we have,
Pretty much just allows them to come into our township and provide services.
I'm sure no one wants to cut that off, so the next thing is when, well, should we set up a hearing?
We have one here.
Even worse, because I got, oh, probably we're on my contact. So when would be a comfortable time for the board to meet and give Jill adequate time to advertise it?
Is it required that we do it before the next scheduled board meeting?
I don't know as if it's required, we do have to have time enough to advertise it. Put the agreement on the website so that the public can see it, review it, and bring any questions to us.
I don't see any deadline yet, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't see a deadline.
And if there is no deadline, I would propose that we hold a public hearing prior to our next regular board meeting.
All right,
June 10th.
I think that sounds agreeable with everybody. Let's plan on that.
Do you want to start the meeting earlier? Or do you want to start the public hearing at 6 o'clock? What is your preference?
You're gonna have three that night, right?
Well, and that does bring up another question, because we will need to set up a public hearing for the code enforcement as well.
I know they're two separate, so.
Yeah.
They're gonna have three total.
But I would suggest
Right.
that we should start early, yes. 5:30. The next item is the town of the hold harmless. Permit for providing service.
This shared service, it's
Oh,
just the insurance companies required. And
I'll make that motion.
Second.
now we do.
Second.
Roll call is
Okay,
Yeah.
David,
motion's made second.
Sean,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye. Motion carries, we will take care of that resolution. Retaining wall on Main Street, you all should have a letter from one of the residents on Main Street with their concern about the deterioration of the wall. We're addressing the one with the balance of the money we had from the, I always call it COVID money. Down by the earthquake property. But obviously there wasn't enough to do both. We were hoping that in the grand plan of the grant that we're seeking, that we could address it there. And that's what that was the response I gave to the individual. They're also in, and this came up before, wanting to buy part of that's former street that runs down there to them. And it's my responsibility to bring it to the board, see what their thoughts are on it.
There's a wall.
Oh, well, I mean, it's getting bad again. Push.
Probably the only thing that's saving is water. I understand gushes through it in the spring,
Yeah.
There water line there under it?
Well, on this,
Oh, there.
where that sidewalk
the
is.
sidewalk.
There's water line.
Dean, is repairing that wall, is that a town project or is that something that's?
That'd be a
to be figured out?
contract, yeah.
Contract. Do you have any guess what kind of money we're talking about?
No, because that one I'm assuming probably a little more than what the wall we're doing now, just because of the situation. I
Yeah.
think with more rock and,
Higher.
yeah, it's a little higher.
The history of that really is
Doesn't have to.
the former buildings that were along there burnt down.
Really?
And that was the foundation of the front of those buildings, what we have left. You know well.
How far do we
If
almost?
we were to build a,
There's surveys, we did have a survey, we do on the wall. That's how.
if we were to make a plan that included doing work on that wall, let's say next year, are we addressing that soon enough?
I would say. In my, yeah, I mean,
Well,
it needs to be addressed for sure.
gentlemen, I'm working on report that I want to bring to you next month on finances for the town. With an outline of, if we keep doing the same things. How will we stand on revenue versus projected expenses? And I'll bring you a report on what money we have now that could be assigned. And my guess is that we'll feel as if, let's say, if we wanted a $200,000 project next year, that we could do it. So I wonder whether or not waiting till next month to make a decision on the small would be okay to try to take a look at our financial situation with a multi-year projection.
I was hoping it was gonna fall under the future grant, that's
Right.
what I was hoping.
Yeah.
What, remind me what that work that we're doing down there is, what the price tag is on that.
Probably 134.
You could double that easy, but
I would think
easy.
it's a little bigger than the one we're.
I bet it's 300, 400.
So
That's only
250.
75 feet,
Uh,
16-foot
That
wall.
one's gotta be,
That one you're probably closer to.
I bet it's 300,000-400,000 for that. All day long.
Well, that's a big number.
No.
But I mean, if you wanna move forward, I mean, Bill engineered the other wall for us, surely should have, Indian Lakes look at it. Give you a proposal.
Yeah, not guess, but
You know, so
have a more educated
Yeah,
guess.
Yeah, you're not gonna get nothing done this year.
no, I mean, even if you wanted to, I mean, unless it's an absolute, but I mean, there's no contract.
There's no contract.
There's
You're not gonna
someone
get it.
that's. Doing the whole process to put it out.
So that addresses part of the requests from the town resident. The other one is wanting to own some of that property that runs down to the.
Is that the
Is this-
roadway for the old Northumberland Street?
It is,
That you're
yes.
talking about?
Yeah.
Next to the brick house?
Yes.
They want the whole thing or half of it? That's,
Not that explicit, you can't, there's not a possibility of the whole thing because we have sewer and water.
We have, that's like our main runway for our water and sewer.
yeah, I don't think we should. I'd like to see a sidewalk down through there, come off Main Street down to the boat launch or whatever. Because
Absolutely.
there's that old sidewalk there now
There's a
that's,
sidewalk.
it's pretty rough, isn't it? But if you do something with that house. That's gonna be the question.
I'd like to see that area beautified and, do our best to make that part of a beautiful part of the downtown area.
Especially if the water, sewer, there is water, there's.
Two water lines and. the sewer line. The one that goes up to the wastewater and all that goes down.
Yeah, if I go there, we'll know where all.
So
Straight up.
I will
Through here.
reach
Down
out
baseball
to
field.
this resident with an update from tonight's meeting. Great. Public hearing for code enforcement, would you like to? give a-
These are pretty, straightforward. The one for the new law is just to update the, 1203, which was supposed to have been updated at the end of 22. State mandated, so it's just going through new language. There is changes in it from the previous one, which was done in 2018. For, what's exempt from building permits now and, operating permits, that sort of thing, so there are quite a few changes to this one. And then the other one for the unsafe structure, at last meeting, we declared 4 unsafe. But Frank and I met with Andy last week and going by our, unsafe structure law, I have to send them a letter saying that they have to appear for a public hearing before the whole 4. So that's what we're setting this public hearing for. I have to notify them, and actually serve them myself, so.
Let's discuss that.
Yeah, so, what, serving?
Yes.
Yeah, so the one, there's a couple that are local, but there's one, the one that we're gonna start with. He is in Ogdensburg, so Andy said that I would have to be, responsible for going to Ogdensburg to try to find him. So, my thought was to hire a civil server, and do it that way. Or if I could get a highway guy to go with me.
You're a civil servant now.
Bigger shoulders.
How much are them, how much are they?
We haven't looked in, we're gonna, like I said, we gotta get through the public hearing, if they even show, like I said, they have the option to show up. They can have an attorney and, it's basically, like I was saying, we served four, or I sent letters to four. But we're gonna start with one, just to go through the process, see, get a price tag. So we know what we're gonna be on the hook for cleanup, and then proceed with the other, we'll have to do one at a time, because I think the cost is gonna far outweigh what was put in the general fund. So, but that's the process right now.
Then it goes through the process on the taxes and then.
Yeah, if they don't, whatever is decided at the public hearing, if they come to an agreement to clean up, or if they don't show up, or if they don't have the means to clean up, then we hire somebody to go contract with somebody to go in, demo, clean up, and then all the incurred costs from that get re-levied on their taxes.
And I don't want to wait on this.
No.
No, that's why I said I figured we'd start with one and go through.
With that said, when do we want to have this public hearing?
We're gonna do it in person. We're gonna.
Did we?
There's one or not? For sure.
Okay. Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because we're gonna do all three of them
Okay.
Oh,
before the next meeting. That's only, I mean, it's a few months away, but, that was kind of, if we need to hire a process server, or figure out how we're gonna work that. Because I have to do that, but, well, now that we have the public hearing set, I have to get on serving them, so I'll have to work
Oh, yeah.
on this week and
Let's get a price, see how much they are and
give them.
let us know.
yeah, I usually concerned about your safety. Well,
Yeah.
all right, then, item number 5 is the open burning within the hamlet. I think a lot of people have had conversations with someone who's quite concerned about that.
Mhm.
And, one of the things that is that when we went through the former village, laws, we looked at them hard as what we could enforce and what we had the staff to enforce.
Right.
So,
Is that enough? We carried all the laws over, I thought.
Right, shed light on that.
Sure.
So the New York state law states that there's no burning in a village. That's why we did not find a local law within the village, local law that they had, and so the town was not able to take any type of law over because there was no law to take over. It's a state law.
So we can make a law though. for the
It's
handbook.
for the hamlet, yes,
Okay.
because the local law for the state doesn't like
Well, then-
pinpoint hamlets, it's
And
village
then
and
if somebody
cities.
calls, if they do call the cops, there's a law. I mean, the cops would come and say, no, there's no law, we can do anything, or if has a law, right?
You just said the state.
The
says
state's
there is no
law-
burning.
The state's law is for village and cities, it doesn't reflect hamlets, and that would be your many, what do I wanna say, what's the word I wanna use? Yeah,
John, do you have any thoughts on whether that sort of a prohibition should be applied to Briar Hill?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Or you just wanna see it.
Yes. I would say that, I mean, campfires are allowed, you know. Open burning, I mean, we got definitely open burning.
Some of the, and one, there was a little one with one person that's concerned, and they talked about plastic, well,
Yeah.
that really goes to DEC.
Isn't there a state
You
prohibition?
can't burn
on
it, yeah.
that?
you
Can't burn
burn
trash.
stuff, I mean, you can't burn trash. Right. Well, I think hamlets are too close, you know, if you've got a big pile of brush you wanna burn, and campfires have always, you know, you can have. Small campfire. Yeah, I'd be.
Yeah, you can get out of control in a hurry.
Making that law
And a hamlet.
for the hamlets. In the town.
Campfire is also defined as 3 feet wide, 2 feet high. Just to clarify.
Say that again, I missed that.
3 feet wide, 3 feet high, they're 2 feet. Yeah.
We don't have one.
And then it jumps up
I
higher.
wonder if there are any other hamlets in the community that are governed.
Is it my picnic?
Burning laws.
What other hamlets?
I'm really out of the hamlet.
Probably Harrisville would be a hamlet. Harrisville, I don't know, maybe. I don't know if Redwood or Threes would be.
I have no idea. Okay.
I think the biggest thing is just don't burn garbage, and I think that's where it all really is stemming from, the people burning garbage.
And that, and that
It's
is,
not a person or a couple kids
that
out
is a
back there, I don't know.
D- that is a DEC. What,
Coming out with the garbage.
It's the New York
So
State
that's-
law, no trash
garbage is
burning.
already regulated.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the thing to do, if somebody's burning garbage, you call.
Question, who do you call? That's the question.
Oh,
Who has jurisdiction to enforce it?
Lisa.
No.
That's where Lisa doesn't want to be.
Dean is the.
Don't you call the DEC?
No fuss with that, but yeah. I mean, yes, you can, absolutely. We just make sure you're, you know, proof of it. I don't think for the most part, there's only one or two, right?
Yeah, and I
I
don't
think
know,
it's
I don't know all the details. I know one day I backed out of, this is, back,
You
the
can look
burn
up-
ban was on.
But you can look out your window and see.
No, this is a separate, this is a
Oh.
separate scenario. It was lunchtime, I got back in my truck, I had to stop and wait for the DEC pickup to drive by my driveway so I could back out into the street. And I get down under the hill here, and there's a leaf flare burning essentially right off the sidewalk. The DEC guy just went by
Guys are by it,
45 seconds ago.
Oh, my.
they're probably must have complained about it,
Well, I mean, right, that's usually the way it is, it's on a complaint basis, right?
they called and.
But it was so obvious, I'm like, wait a minute. How did you miss that one?
So let's say we put this law in, I want somebody to walk me through how we're going to enforce it. Who's going to address it?
I think
I don't know, say
I
it,
think we need to have somebody look into it, see,
Yeah,
either
that's-
Lisa and Andy together, see if there's something
Didn't we have that
out there.
Didn't we have a conversation?
Yeah.
no.
Cause we're who's enforcing that, you know?
Well. I'm just thinking of, say, if you call on Sherry for open burning, and the cops do come. And they say there's no law in this town, so we can't do anything, but if there's a law, maybe they can pick it up. I mean, I don't think we're gonna enforce it exactly, but there's a law in effect, maybe.
I don't think enforcing it as much as having the law, so that if something does happen
Yeah,
to another structure, then it's
We're
covered.
protected.
If you don't have the law, then if something else
right, I don't think
happens.
it's gonna, we're not gonna enforce it, but
Right,
if the cops do get called and there's no law, it's just like being out in the country.
Yeah, it's like being under the burn ban in the country, and if nobody,
Yeah,
right.
a lot of times there's no secrets issue.
right, but if you have a law on it,
All right, let's,
what do you think, Lisa?
While we're on the subject of new laws, is there chickens allowed in the hamlet?
That I can't, I don't know. That actually came up when I was there, I don't know. Well, we have cows at one point, so it must be, it must be then, because it would work out. That would go out, like, They were going off too, and I'm like, where is the rooster in the village? And you're like,
We were working in a bad house, and I'm like, is there a rooster? We lived out there.
I think they're at both ends of the town. One
Yeah.
This way, back near my son's.
Yeah.
The other end.
So am I.
I think that's it. I don't want to do that.
I would say if we could find some. Town has it for us.
All right,
And what?
then I'll put it on my, I'll take it upon myself to have conversations and I'll take into account Sherry's point about liability. Thank you.
Does a fire law include, would it cover the hamlet and the town, or just the hamlet? If,
I don't think you know that.
I would say just hang on myself. So it's good, you know, it's sort of fight. I wouldn't put on multi on myself.
Okay, we have a new assignment, Joe. We're gonna stick with this. All right. That is the answer to.
So you're not doing anything with this?
We won't do anything tonight.
Not tonight,
Correct, we're going to,
but this is the time of year that you need to do this, right? Because what good is it gonna be if you wait another month? I mean,
What would we do?
summer's gonna be half over.
Make a resolution to.
we need, I would suspect we need the exact correct. Wording. From our town attorney for this. And he was.
It'd be completely creating a law, so it's gonna require a public hearing and.
Mhm.
It's gonna be the process.
Or do we make a resolution tonight to move forward with
Yeah, if we have to, give time though, to make the draft or, try to find the law to draft, you know.
it? I would make a motion to move ahead with. Obtaining the law. On the order. They're ready for next meeting.
You want me to address that, or you want to address it? Yes.
I'll put it in with mine, but.
All right, and
Do we have a second?
I'll second. There's no other new business.
Let me do roll. Call. David,
Sorry.
Sean, Chris,
I told you that.
Frank,
Aye.
Okay.
The motion carries. We'll move into department reports. Jill, you have the floor.
okay. My report is in your packet. I went to conference, one of the big issues is cybersecurity. As of December 21st, 2025, all New York State municipalities and agencies will be mandated to have a .gov website and emails. So Deb is in the process of working on the website to make that a .gov with our current his name is Matt from North Shores, who they manage our website. But she's willing to help with that, and once that's set up, then I'll reach out to CST and they'll have to update our emails. Changing emails again, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. And then the even year election law had gone to the first level of courts. And as of May 8th, the New York State Association of Towns stated that they overturned the opinion So we who are up for election this November should expect our term to be less 1 year. So they are going, as of right now, they're going to go through with the even year elections. They'll let us know if there's any new information. So that's all my highlights.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
Dean, you have the floor.
So back to the retaining wall on Main Street, Bishop has started into that project. Looking to hopefully next week start doing some footers there. Haven't heard any two complaints. We have been shutting that little section of street down around Bay Street just so they can access it easier with the dump trucks instead of cars flying around the corner. Everything seems to be going well there. I did get a quote for paving the parking lot I brought up last, I believe it was in April's meeting. About down to the boat launch, how it was from the
Yes.
floodings. So you're looking at, as of April's pricing, which it only went up a few cents this month, the oil index went up. You're at 18,000 for the binder and top. We're looking at 2 days of paving, so it'd be probably another 4,000 to 5,000 on top of that. We'll tear it right out. We dug some holes and it's hollow underneath, I think, from the water up and out. It seems like it's pretty bony stuff under there. So if we take the blacktop out, we put new stone down, get it prepped, and then we'd have. What's that? Either Phil's paving or probably Middleman's. So that was the price on that. I didn't know if you wanted to.
When would you wanna do that right off?
Well, I'd like to do it before the summer got super busy. I mean. I'm afraid some of the holes. They're getting deep enough.
Yeah, that's right.
It probably is not gonna happen before Memorial Day at this point, but. I'd like to do it this summer, earlier than later.
Well, then, let's proceed with the motion. I'll make a motion that we proceed with this project. Do we have a second? We have a second.
Dave,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye. Motion carries, Dean.
The other thing I had added to that was, so we're good with putting the top on the walking trail. The water line is gonna be on the other side. I've talked to the Department of Judith, it will be on the other side. That's kind of why we've been sort of holding
I
off,
remember.
but yeah, I'd like to get that top probably about the same time, so. That won't be very much. And I think there's some left on that side of the ARPA money to cover that last little bit, finish that.
One thing I'd like to, we get the county to come and put up a wide white. I've seen more people taking that corner.
Well, I don't.
You know, I mean,
A white line's not gonna stop him, I don't know what to do there, I mean, I seen a guy, I chased him down Saturday, he came up and it was like a turnoff, like.
you know,
He came right off, like, coming this way, like, I've seen lots of cars do that, so I'm gonna end up putting rocks back there again. Just to stop the cars, I did put a request in for the county to straight the village in that line
Okay.
and out River Road again.
often by them. Them skinny folk, you know, the orange markers
Right.
they put down for the summer.
Is it right, you're talking about the turnaround to go down,
Yeah, kind of the Y off, yeah.
yeah.
So they take that, that's.
Oh, yeah, that's like the on and off ramp.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they buy them, you know, skinny standing
Yeah.
ones. Yeah, cause I was sitting there the other day and. Okay, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's,
They were way down the whole walk, man, he wasn't even in the road.
This takes care of somebody's bright idea to plant flowers.
yeah.
They put the flower pot in the middle of the road.
I have an answer for them. I said, you're on their own, I'm not weeding it.
I did have the two bids, I talked to this, last year we did not do it, the lawnmower, the John Deere out here with the bigger deck on it. Needs to be replaced, Kubota and John Deere were the same at 40,000, that's with the new deck and the broom that goes on it that we clean sidewalks with.
Do you have a feeling for as far as service with one of those or the other?
We've had good luck with the John Deere, I think it's got 5,000 hours on it.
Yeah.
Really not a lot of problems, it's got some problems right now that we're.
You got the money in the budget, so.
Chris had said there was even we had it in there last year, we just didn't do it, it got late in the year. We muddled through on the mower deck, but, and it's still gonna be 3 months probably, so it's like, if you just get it.
Last year we did the town barn instead.
Yeah.
So that's important. Okay, anything else?
No, I do ask at the end of the meeting, for personnel reasons, I'd like to go into an executive session.
Right.
So we gotta prove that, or you?
Yes, if you guys want to, if there's any discussion, I have the,
But I would move that we authorize purchase of, what's the term for the?
John Deere mower, I guess.
The new John Deere.
I have the exact stuff I can give the Jill.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Dave,
Alright.
Sean, Chris,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye. The motion
I do have
carries.
one more thing.
Sorry.
But this is a good thing, money's coming back.
Enough, Dave.
I have some good stuff, Dave, now come on, I'm done spending money for now. So we did send a bunch of stuff to auction, I had the old mower from last year, an old dump box we had. Bunch of other odds and ends, so it did sell at auction, we did bring in close to, it was $9,998. So that did come in and I approved all that, so just stuff, extra obsolete stuff.
So it's only 30 grand, Dave.
So it's only 30 grand.
Yeah, so see, I helped you out, I'm saving that for the end, I was gonna do it first and spend it first, but.
When we do that generator bill?
That's on sewer, not highway.
Yeah, they're gonna like that.
That is it, Frank.
All right, thank you, Dean. Well, now, is there a copy of the code? Yeah. Yeah, copy in here, Bill. For us to look at.
There, it's starting to pick up, so, this month we're already ramping up too, so we can keep going. Other than, there's nothing big for projects so far. A couple updates there, I know there's been a lot of discussion and back and forth with the brick house by the bank. This has been an ongoing thing with this new owner. Nobody has ever seen him face to face. It's all by phone and email.
we've seen him.
Yeah. So he did hire, contracted with Brooks Washburn, in Potsdam. Brooks did go, on-site inspection on April 23rd. And he is suggesting to the owner to demo. He said there's severe structural damage. He has a whole report, but he wanted to wait until he discusses it with the owner before. He did email him. He sent me a copy of the email that he forwarded to the owner. And basically it should be demoed, but he's waiting to see, he wanted to see what his, if he was gonna contract for, like a complete structural stability or how far he wanted to go with it and see how deep his pockets really are, you know, so. We'll hear back from the owner. But I'm gonna also reach out to the owner and kind of push the issue, and again, unsafe structure, and it really needs to, and we can do a safety hazard at this point, and put, you know, this would be an expedited demo if we wanted demo, but
So what's that mean? I'm just,
yeah, we do it and then, it'd still go back on the owner, but, with a severe health and safety issue, that we can, there's a, through the state, there's a way that we can get it tore down immediately and then.
good.
I would.
Lisa, have you essentially issued a ticket to the,
What I sent a couple notices and he has communicated, but he always has some issue come up that he can't get up here to, do anything. That's why cause I told him he needed to get the structural stability looked at. And he did contract with Brooks, and I worked with Brooks when I was over in Potsdam, so I contacted Brooks myself to verify that he was under contract and he was, so. He did do his walkthrough though. So he said it's really bad, so, we're working on it.
Good.
As everybody sees, the Masonic Temple, that's getting renovated. The owner right now, is intending to just renovate the main structure because they wanna keep the integrity of it. It should be tore down too, but they're insistent that they wanna renovate, so, that'll be a good project. The church on Main Street, that has sold, it's gonna remain a church. So there won't be any, anything major happening there. So, good things going so far, and then the unsafe structure that we're gonna have in the public hearing, hopefully we can get that moving, just to, like I said, start with one, go through the process to find out cost. Then we'll go from there and talk more with the other ones.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, did you wanna do an update on the Supreme Court?
If we do them in, open,
Probably nothing with the court litigation.
we probably,
Executive.
yes, we will, suggest executive session in
Yeah.
meetings. Okay. So we have, communications, do we have anything on?
No.
Yes, no. We have assessors report. Here,
I think the assessor's report has a question about reimbursement.
oh, we go, yes, for education. He asked me one-on-one, and I told him if it was in his, fund, that I didn't feel like he had to have our approval, if it's in his working money.
Oh,
The reimbursement is for last year's conference.
Oh,
Because, I guess the way that it works is we pay for it and then he gets reimbursed through the association, the Assessors Association. Is how it works. That's how he explained it to me.
oh,
But he did ask for a different conference, for the Cornell conference from
that's the
you.
one- That's the one you're.
Yes.
About.
I wish we had an amount here so that we really knew what we're dealing with. I have, in my vast experience as an assessor, gone to the Cornell conferences, and they're very worthwhile, they're very appropriate to do. And I think it's appropriate for the town to pay some of the cost. Apparently, he's been able to split these costs between some of the other towns he's working for.
Right, and the money is in that, his other account.
Yes, there is money in that budget, so probably we don't need to pass a resolution on this, but this is
More
good training, good training.
information. Okay. Town historian. You have a written report from historian. Okay, dog control. We have notice from Ag and Markets. That, of the inspection report, there's two different ones. One was more procedural and the other one was more the structure and the physical facility. And it was completed 4/23. You have that in front of you. One is unsatisfactory. We we drafted a letter today to Mr. To Dan about, I said, please indicate your plan to rectify the unsatisfactory inspection of 423. That's the one looking for a response back. We have, the next item is other business of paving. Here. That I will open this time. Did notice was 2.24 miles project. And it's general bid, can you read this, because I did take that one contact out, so that's the one I read with.
General bid specifications for paving Center Road. The price per ton is bid at $93.50 a ton. This is Heidelberg Materials Northeast. And I think that takes care of that. Is there more of this that should be read to the public? This is an awfully long document. There are certificates of materials and so forth.
You used them before?
Yes, that's the same ones that we were getting last year. I think last year was 92.68, I looked it up, so.
And this is,
And that is in place, that is not us touching it, doing nothing, they basically come in.
Heidelberg Materials.
Oh, boys.
93.50.
They do a great job.
There's not an extreme change.
So that's this bid is a little bit above, but not.
Right, like I said, I think last year I looked it up, I think it was 92.
And this is the only bid we received.
the only-
I didn't know that.
I'd be game to make a motion to accept this bid. Would that be prudent in your point of view, Dean?
Yes.
Okay, the motion's been made, someone seconded.
Okay,
Roll call, please.
Dave,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Frank.
Aye. The bid is accepted.
Got a question, Dean.
Yes.
I was reading public news reports about the state budget. And it appears to me that there was a substantial increase in CHIPS funding.
There was some, yes, we have not, so like us, I think we were at 15% increase on basic trips. I don't know, on the other programs, pretty much stayed flat. Which is actually better, because what they usually do is that's how you get your extreme winter, your pothole, your paved New York, they put all of our raises in those categories, because then they can pull them at any time. CHIPS is never going anywhere now, they've made that, so any money that goes there, they did not come back out of that, so it was a great step this year to get them to put it into the flat line of base CHIPS money.
I'm thinking that this bid was based on last year's CHIPS amount, and that, does this imply that you might be able to do some more work?
Yeah, so this will give me a baseline now,
Yeah.
they said we should have our letters by the end of the month. To confirm exactly what we're getting, cause there's a big formula, I like to try and sit down and figure it out yourself,
Sure.
because
Can you
I haven't
share?
been able to master it yet, so.
But
But the
sometimes,
state will give us a letter, and then yes, there will be surplus for sure to.
sometime later you'll come back and.
Yeah.
you'll
You have your eye
additional
on-
Project.
You have an eye on.
Yeah, so the old Mills Road will be my next one, the next, which is only like half, 3/4 of a mile, but it'll eat up most of the rest of it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll point to there,
2200.
2200.
Okay.
Center, yeah, you're right,
With that,
Right?
somewhere there.
I make a motion that we go into executive session for the. Personnel.
Dean will receive the
Neighbor. Yeah, well, I see that. The run up the law, I'm gonna start sending them out.
How are you? You're back up.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just.